Hello, my name is Federico Dominioni and I am the CTO of K2BTools. K2BTools is a product whose aim is to help GeneXus developers in building better applications in a very productive way. K2BTools is a product developed by a company called K2B. K2B is a GeneXus solution and platform partner that has two business units. One is a world-class ERP used in many important companies in Latin America, and K2BTools, a development tool widely used in the GeneXus community. K2BTools automates the generation of GeneXus code to solve common and repetitive problems. The main focus of K2BTools are increasing productivity, to develop GeneXus application faster and more easily, following the best practices when building GeneXus applications, generating application with an excellent user interface. Having a great user experience is very important nowadays. This is very difficult to achieve as many developers have little knowledge of design and user experience best practices. K2BTools generates the user interface following best practices and guidelines. K2BTools is always up to date with GeneXus, releasing new versions for each GeneXus version, taking advantage of its new features. Nowadays, it is highly important that business applications are secure. All code generated by K2BTools follows security best practices. We have three main products in the K2BTools suite: K2BTools for Web, K2BTools for Smart Devices, and K2B Audit. In this webinar, we are going to present an overview of all these products, and after that, we will hear from Sergio Prusky, who is going to tell us about his experience with K2BTools. So we start with K2BTools for Web. Common GeneXus applications need to have common user interfaces like insert, update, delete, and display interface for all transactions, work with user interface, prompt selection, and basic reports. All these features are automatically generated using the basic K2BTools patterns, the basic K2BTools patterns. So let's go to GeneXus and let me show you how to do it. Okay. Well, now we are in GeneXus. You will see all the GeneXus development environment. And here we have a transaction, a basic product transaction with the description field, type, a price, okay, observation, and photographs. If you go to the Patterns tab, when you have K2BTools installed in your GeneXus, it will appear three patterns: the entity services pattern, the K2B prompt, and tier and form. And if we apply the K2B entity services patterns to the product transactions, this is what will be generated. So applying the pattern to product, you will have this user interface with a grid showing all records of the product transactions. And I can perform basic operation like adding a new product. Okay, feedback messages will appear after adding the product, but I can perform some modification of the product. For example, I can do the operation of update product. And also, I can delete the product. So this was easy to generate using K2BTools. But how this magic happens, how this is all generated? Okay, when I apply the patterns to the product transactions, some objects, GeneXus objects, are generated. This is the work with, and this is the instance where it is the specification of the work with. So in the specification, this is very easy. We have the grid columns, in which we have five columns, one that is invisible, so we are going to see in execution 4 columns: the description, the type, the price, and the photo. Then we have a filter, a product description filter. And also we have 2 orders, one from product ID and then another for product description and an action. Okay, so if we return to our presentation, to our to the work with products in runtime, we can see the 4 attributes. Okay, the product description filter, the order by that is located under the grid settings, so I will change the order, and the increase action defined in the instance. So it is very easy to define. But also, you using K2BTools and applying the K2B entity services pattern to all the transactions, you get more functionality. For example, these are the basic report, a PDF report of the product transaction. And also, in a very easy way, you get the Excel report. So as you see, it's very easy. Without the developer has to not to do anything in order to generate this functionality. And also, if, for example, we apply this pattern to another transaction, for example, the invoice transaction, the user interface we'll get is the same, which is good because we want that all the user interfaces remain the same. All the applications have the same look and feel. In this case, we see the work with invoices, and we have, for example, the customer filters. Okay, the invoices are related to a customer, and here we can select in the filter. This is a multiple filter in which I can select to which customers I am going to show the invoices. So this is a very useful filter that is only a property, and it is very easy to use. Okay. Another important functionality is when you are applying the pattern, you will get a filter automatically, that is a full text search filter, in which, for example, I can perform search in all the application. I am going to search, for example, to Montevideo, that is the capital city of Uruguay. And searching Montevideo, I will get the information of Montevideo and all the customers that lives in Montevideo. And if, for example, I click in that customer, I'm going to go to the view of that customer. Also, returning to the product work with, I would like to show you that the application is responsive. So if I see the work with in another device, in a smart device, for example, the fields adapt to the screen. So, for example, in this case, the menu is hidden, and you enable or you show it or hide it, and you can, in adding the records, the descriptions appear on the top of the fields in order to conserve better the space. And all this functionality generated in a very easily way. And another interesting thing, okay, this is the work with of the product, but also the work with have many variants. Another variant, for example, is the pop-up, in which when I perform the basic operation, for example, I want to add a record, the record is added in a pop-up screen, or if I want to update a record or delete it, okay. it will appear in another screen. And another variant of the workgrid that is very easy to configure, but because it's only a property you have to set, is the two-pane, in which the grid, the selected record or the transaction appear at the right of the screen. So when I want to, for example, add a new record, okay, the transactions appear in the same screen as the grid. And all this is only an overview. There are a lot of features, and this the developer can configure in a very simple way. It's only a property in the instance. Frequently, the interfaces we saw before are the foundation of our applications. After these foundations are laid, we can start creating more complex user interfaces. Most times, these complex user interfaces implement the core features of the application, as they can be used to implement complex use cases. Most applications also have a complex user interfaces in which many components must interact in the same interface. For those user interfaces in K2BTools, we have a very important tool, Web Panel Designer. With Web Panel Designer, you can, with little effort, create complex interfaces like interfaces with multiple grids, data entry without using transaction, integration with other applications, and interfaces in which you have to select multiple items and apply an action to all of them. So, Web Panel Designer can be used to create complex user interface in a very simple way, and also to create advanced designs. But let me show you an example. What I'm going to do now is this user interface. Okay, you see this interface when we see the customers of the application, and when I select a customer, here in general information appears the basic information of the customer, and when we go to the invoice sections, it appears the invoices of the selected customer. So if I'm changing the customer, I see the invoice of the selected customer, okay, or the general information of that customer. So I'm going to build this user interface using the Web Panel Designer. So how we do that? Okay, first of all, I am going to create a new web panel. I'm going to save. When you install K2BTools, a new part in all web panels will appear that is called Designer, the Designer part. And when I press the Activate button, okay, all the Designer part, okay, all the design will generate the web form and parts of the events. So I'm going to start building the web panel. First of all, what we need to have in our web panel is a grid of customers. So I'm going to use the action Add Grid from Transaction. I am going to select the customer transaction, and here a dialog will appear in which I will have to select the design of the grid, of the element that appears inside the grid. So I am going to select this design, the compact card with photo, okay, and I am going to press OK. And the customer grid will get generated. I'm going to remove all attributes that I am not going to show, and here I have the customer grid. Now I am going to continue with building this application. I am going to add two tabs, one with general information of the customers, and this general information will be displayed in a web component. I am going to call it customer component, and in the other tab I am going to add a new grid from transaction. I'm going to select the invoice transaction, okay, it's the same operation, And here, when in the design dialog, I am going to select the standard grid. I'm going to remove all attributes that I don't want to show. Also, I am going to remove the filters I am not going to need. And I'm going to add a filter because I need to show the invoices of a selected customer. So I'm going to put a customer ID filter that is based on the customer ID attribute, and the attribute will be invisible. Okay, and with this I generate all the web form and almost all the events I need to perform this part. The only thing I am going to do now is to add some code, okay, in the events, in order that when to create the customer component with the selected customer, set the filter in the grid filters and refresh the grid. After that, I'm going to put this as a main program, and I'm going to select the run option in order that the object to specify. So I do almost everything in the designer part. The designer part generates me all the web form and a lot of events, and the events part is shared between the web panel designer and the developer. So I put some developer code inside the web panel designer, and let me see what is going to happen when this object is generated. So we are waiting for the generation of the object. And here we have, okay, the web panel generated, in which I can select the customers, and the general information will refresh with all the information of the selected customer. And if I go to the invoice tab, I will see the invoice related to the selected customer. And as you saw, this was generated in a very easy way using the web panel designer. That is a very productive and powerful tool, so I recommend to use it. Most applications also need a menu. We have a specific pattern that automatically generates the application menu. As you have seen during this presentation, K2BTools provides a wide variety of powerful filters. Simple filters are the most common filters in which the user searches in a particular field. Full-text search filters, as we saw in this presentation, allows the user to search along the entire application. String search filters is a single filter that allows users to search for a value in multiple fields. Advanced filters are filters that can be added or removed in runtime. Multiple filters, as we saw in this presentation, allows the user to search for multiple values for a single field. K2BTools provide two visualizations of these filters, the combo visualization and the tags visualization. The developer can choose which type of filter he wishes to use in each case, using a few properties. Aside from the filters, we have a lot of common features automatically implemented in K2BTools, which are very easy to use. For example, you can configure context help messages, actions with confirmation, required fields, use of collapsible areas to separate and organize information, runtime column selection in grids, rows per page configuration in grids, combo actions, multiple selections of elements, inserts in prompts. Also, the applications generated by K2BTools are responsive, and a wide variety of predefined designs can be used, and many more useful features that help to develop and enhance a GeneXus application. All user interface that is defined using K2BTools can be customized. K2BTools provides a set of themes, but any developer can create its own theme and also modify the position of all elements in the interface as seen in this example. Security must be controlled so that only authorized users can access each part of the application. In order to control that, code generated by K2BTools calls an APA to check the user permissions. This APA is simple and can be implemented so that it integrates with an existing security module. If you are building an application and you have a security module, you can easily integrate it with K2BTools using the API. If you are building a new application, our recommendation is to use the GeneXus Access Manager, that is a security module built in by the GeneXus team. If you use GAM, K2BTools provides an automatic integration with GeneXus Access Manager. It also provides a GeneXus Access Manager administration backend developed using Webpanel Designer, so that the security backend has the same look and feel as the application. We also have the help of the GeneXus Consulting security team. GeneXus Consulting is one of the most important Uruguayan companies that develop applications using GeneXus, and they have a team specialized in developing secure applications with GeneXus. This team collaborates with us and tests our tools to ensure that the code we generate follows security best practices. We have seen how K2BTools help developers working on web applications. K2BTools provides similar products for the smart devices platform, allowing developers to create native Android and iOS applications faster and with a better user interface. To do this, we choose to implement a tool called Smart Device Designer, which is very similar to the Webpanel Designer tool we saw earlier. This tool uses the same specification language of the user interface and creates native applications following that specification. This simplifies the learning process for this new platform, as we can reuse concepts learned while using Webpanel Designer. We just saw the specification of the left side of the slide when we create an interface using Webpanel Designer. On the right, we have the same specification, but used in a smart devices context. In this context, the interface generated is the one shown below. K2BTools includes several predefined designs that work out of the box after K2BTool is installed. This design covers common scenarios we found when analyzing mobile applications. The developer can reuse them to simplify the creation of these applications' user interfaces. Most smart device applications need to integrate with other applications. Smart device designers make it easier to accomplish this integration, as it supports procedures and data providers as a data source in a simple way. Last but not least, we have the K2B Audit solution. This is used to track change in the records of applications of the application database. In order to illustrate that, I am going to show you an example. So let me show you an example of how K2B Audit works, or what it does. For example, in this demonstration, we have add new products. Okay, this demonstration has the table, the product table audited. So what I'm going to do is go to a query that is analyzed by operation that allows me to search for a particular operation performed on the knowledge base. And as you can see, in the first part of the demonstration, I add a new product, okay, that was called a new product demo USA with a price of 124. And then in another operation, this product was updated to 200. And after that, we remove this product, this record. And all this was tracked by K2B Audit. K2B Audit used database triggers to track which records were changed, who made those changes, when were those changes made. K2B Audit uses a simple and transparent solution. It doesn't require the developer to add extra code. The application user is Audit, and all insert, update, and delete operations are tracked. Developers can also use conditional auditing in order to decide which record change to audit. This was an overview of our three solutions. If you want more information, you can send us an email and we can schedule another presentation or send you more information. Now Sergio Prusky is going to talk about his experience with K2BTools. So, hello Sergio.
Okay, so thank you, Federico. My name is Sergio Prusky and I'm the president of InStyle Software. We have, for the last 20 years, approximately, we have been developing a software for the apparel industry with GeneXus. So we actually started in version like 6, and we have moved over to version 7, 8, 9. And up until a year ago, we were basically 100% in GeneXus 9, 70% Windows, about 20% web, and about 10% Windows Mobile with the .NET Compact generator. And about a year ago, we started migrating to GeneXus Xev3. And we decided that we needed tools to help us. And we looked at different pattern generators, and the one we selected was K2BTools. And the reasons we decided to go to GeneXus X are basically driven by market trends and demand. So when we show our software in presentations, the windows, which I'll show you in a little bit what it looks like, is not as attractive as the web. And one of the things we were looking in a tool was that the end result would look attractive. So not only functional, but also attractive. And we found that to be true with K2BTools. So we've been doing this for about 12 months with one person. And the technology, or what we're generating, is Java Web, use Tomcat 7. So this is what our software looks like in Windows. It's actually functional. It's not a problem with functionality. It's generated from GeneXus 9, but the look and feel is not what users are expecting today. So we have converted this to web using K2BTools. The look and feel is what you see here, which everybody seems to agree that it's much nicer. And we do have some additional functionality that Federico was explaining about, advanced filters and other things like that would benefit from the platform, the automatic menus, and other benefits that we get for free using K2BTools. So our motivators were like, I think we share with other people in the GeneXus community. GeneXus is a great tool for productivity, but we are always open to more productivity. So we think, or at least my philosophy, is that simple equals productivity. So when we used to work on a RPG generator, I-Series, AS400, whatever you want to call it, the programmer would spend 90% of the time on the code and only 10% on defining the screens. There were very few decisions to make. We went to Windows, that became more complex. We go to web, there's even more to decide. So with K2BTools, we recover some of that time. We don't have to think about the UI because K2BTools is doing that for us. So we create a tree like the one you see on the right, and K2BTools takes that and creates the screens for us. So there's a higher level of abstraction that we benefit from. The other thing is we get consistency. So all our programs look the same. So users that use our system don't have to learn how to use every screen. They just learn one screen and all of the screens look the same. And as I mentioned before, the functionality is great. We need some features that are nice to have, like export to PDF, export to Excel, advanced filters. We get extremely high productivity when it comes to repetitive tasks, like the work with and the prompts. All the simple screens are extremely easy to do. So the challenge is still what to do with complex things. So when there's something that is really complex, we can always program that in, let's say, traditional GeneXus. And we can insert that into the K2BTools environment very easily. They basically have created the space where we can put those objects. In the example that you see right now, for example, the top of the screen was created with K2BTools, but the bottom part was manually coded. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer at the end of the webinar. It's been great for us, and we'd like to share our experience with other users, whoever. So if you have any questions, either email to me or, like I said, ask at the end of the seminar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sergio. Okay, all K2BTools solutions are available for download in GeneXus Marketplace. You can use free license to test K2BTools or build small applications. All features are included in the free edition license. The limit is that only 20 instances of each pattern can be present in the knowledge base. Also, starting with K2BTools, we have a wiki with a tutorial where you can quickly learn how to use K2BTools. It is so, let's try yourself and see this fantastic and useful tool, how it works. And if you have any doubt, you want to get deeply into the presentation, you can always send us an email and we will answer you, and we can schedule a presentation or a doubt or a session in order to answer your question. So we will keep in touch.